have a Sauvignon Blanc, a Rosé, and a Cabernet. So feel free, come on up and we'll pour some wine.
It's going to be a long bar at the entrance.
There's a private event space against in that little corner, and then that whole wall is some banquettes and more tables. So it's a pretty nice size, seated. And it's our second venue show. But that whole wall that we walked through is big sliding glass doors. So if we wanted to have this whole floor as a party, we can use that venue that opens up into the dining room. So then we can have a 250-person event space. Just
Dining room holds 150.
So that's really nice. Hi, welcome. I'm Michal.
Yeah.
In our case, that will be the entrance. So when people come in the front door, if they're coming to a show, they'll be directed to come this way, and you'll walk down. And it's not a signature staircase that we've actually put in almost every city winery so far. It's a curve that has a bottle wall along the outside, so it'll be a very tall bottle wall from the floor going up to about this height that'll wrap. And origin was New York, and we did it in Chicago, and then we did it in Nashville, we did it in Atlanta. We did not do it in Washington, D.C. because the contractor screwed up a few things, and then it was going to cost us too much money, and then it was too late, so we just said we won't do it. That's the only reason. And then we have some back of house that kind of connects.
And elevators back there.
A staircase that comes directly from the kitchen straight up into the dining room, so that it avoids this staircase, and we can get food to customers on this floor rapidly.
Your bar can come to here, but that is your doors and your glass doors.
The bar for this one will be in that corner. This is the glass doors that'll open, and the stage will be in that corner. And that field office is obviously removed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gone.
Now we're going to cut through the mall, which of course is still under construction.
So we're walking through a store. I'm not sure who's here.
Yeah.
I don't know so much about it. I know they've been working about this. So here you have a mall. You got H&M here, and all the retailers. This entire wall, which is about 200 feet, is just going to be glass, no doors, except for at that end. And it's our barrel room. So we're going to have barrels 4 high, and so all you'll see when you walk through is barrels on their side, right? So it'll be a really cool visual. Yeah. It'll be sort of a billboard for us, obviously, but you then will not be able to look into the next set of glass, which then is the venue. So it's kind of a sound and a visual blocker, but it'll be intriguing. I think it's actually an artistic statement on some level. It's going to be really cool. Probably the first time ever in a big mall. You'll have a full cellar like that. But I think it'll be very intriguing and kind of cool. And a very photogenic. And
A tasting bar into the
people will come,
mall.
get a quick glass of wine, and then continue on to mall things.
Wow. And now we're inside.
The tasting bar.
What's this going to be?
This is
Tasting
the
bar.
Just facing out. So the R3 mark line is the columns. So there'll be glass, and it'll follow the corner and here. And so, well, you'll see when we get around this corner. But so this is the tasting bar, and then around that is the barrel room, all temperature controlled. And so let's go this way. So we're kind of coming in the back door to the winery. So this will just be filled with racks of barrels. And a set of glass doors here. And then this is all back of house now that we're walking into. This is the winery space. So there'll be big stainless steel tanks in here, our crushing equipment, some bottling equipment.
You're going to do winemaking here?
Yeah, and believe it or not, the first grapes will be arriving here in Philadelphia on September 25th. So we're seven weeks away from our first vintage happening here. So we're going to probably do about 15 tons of grapes, and just be able to call 2019 our first vintage.
And it'll have a Philadelphia name?
Yeah, we'll come up with a few working titles right now.
How long are they aged for before they're sold?
How long will they age for, he asked, before they're sold?
Depends on the grapes that we get and then what we're going to do. So if usually like, this doesn't age at all.
No.
So, and it's an earlier harvest grape. The Cabernet could be a fruit that might hang until October, and then that might go in a barrel for a year or so. So we'll see. So this is all kitchen. This is all kitchen. The hood just went in this week, brand new. I haven't seen that. We have a lot of refrigeration and storage, and offices that direction, and
Here's the venue.
a lot of bathrooms over here.
Good. That's important if you're drinking wine.
Yep. All right. We're moving right along.
So these are the bathrooms, huh?
So these are all bathrooms. This is all public hall. And we'll go back to the staircase as if we're entering. Elevator.
So since I haven't gotten your book yet, is your background in building or finance or winery or entertainment?
So you're asking a critical question. Do I have any real core capacity
Core
to
knowledge
do,
of anything,
to do
anything at all, or
anything?
are you a jack of all trades?
And the answer is I dabble in a lot of things, I
Okay.
guess. But
You're a jack of all
I've been-
trades and a master of all trades.
I've been building a lot.
Okay,
So, and I've always wanted to be an architect.
okay, good.
So now I'm doing that, but I've just been a music fan and a wine fan, and
Nice.
and then the obvious integration of the two to create a good venue. You got to pay a lot of attention to the room you're building.
Right.
And as I said last night from the stage when we were closing New York, it's just a room. The key is then creating a good vibe, and that's hiring great people and making sure you're sensitive to all of the components that go into a venue, right? So it's air conditioning, it's visual lines, it's the type of furniture, it's the type of glassware. If you're going to serve wine, it better be in a glass, not a plastic cup. You got to think about our audience, which
Right.
we know want to sit for a show. So all of those components in terms of what we're building are really important, and so the physical creation of these spaces is something I pay a lot of attention to.
Good.
Yeah.
It's a big factor.
So here's our staircase, because it's
Oh, wow.
quite
Yeah.
dramatic. When you're here to see how high this space will be. It's gonna be very cool coming down. The stairs are about a foot wider than the New York ones, if you're familiar with that. But this glass curved bottle wall, we call it, is going to be really beautiful and dramatic, to say the least. So then you come through here and you'll enter a set of double doors, and we do that for sound so that all the people schmoozing out here won't affect the show.
Right.
And then, so it's a sound lock. And then you get into this room, which we think is really probably the best space we have yet, for a whole bunch of reasons. But you know, this sort of size is exactly what we're always trying to achieve. It's column free, which we didn't have to remove this column. Usually we're removing columns. But this room had this giant steel bridge across, which was fantastic. The only column we have is the one back there, but the soundboard is behind it, and then the bar behind that, so it won't block any customer views. It allows us to have 370 people in here. We sell 300 tickets. That's our number that we use for all of our spaces, so it's our sweet spot. Then you can see these cutouts on the right. Those are going to be windows into that cellar, so you're going to see the barrels from this perspective. And if you notice, the walls are on these angles with the basic pockets. That's all for sound. So we've done no acoustical treatment yet at all, but just having the walls up in the shape and the various pockets captures a lot of bad resonance from the vibration. So once we acoustically treat this room, it's going to be a really magnificent sounding room. Very big stage, you know, maybe disproportionately large for a 300 capacity venue. You know, solid concrete.
Why the concrete for the stage?
Because a musician who's doing this a lot does not want to have any sort of reverb or you know, you don't want to hear that platform.
Okay.
A solid stage is so important, you know, and we filled it. It's not hollow concrete, just in these bins where we have the bass the subwoofers. And then what we can go this way. We've created an incredible backstage setup, 3 dressing rooms, so opening act can have their own dressing room, and then there's a huge service elevator right over there in that corner. So from down below this, so that a bus or a truck can literally pull in underneath the mall. We have our spot down there, and talent and supplies and everything can come straight up. Grapes can come straight up to this level, and, which is very important. We get a lot of them, and then they'll come right in. So the functionality of this space is also pretty remarkable. And what's great, again, the kitchen is right back through that service door. So from, you know, a central spot, we're able to get to everybody in here, then up a separate set of staircase from there right up into the restaurant. So super functional in terms of you know, being able to service everybody in here. And we just have a little bit of the raised platform back there, just, you know, to give the last couple rows a little bit of elevation to see the room. You know, we fight against you know, having fixed seats, you know, and any kind of incline, like a classic theater might, because we do a lot of events in here where it could be a gala, party, wedding, where we want to have rounds. We do a lot of wine tastings, you know, where you know, you just want to be able to create a way for people to move between tables. So having an open room flat gives us a lot of functionality. And what's nice about our sizing here is we were also able to probably give us everybody another couple inches, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is.
Oh yes, it does.
Between we probably are sensitive to that.
Tell that to the airlines, would you?
But those little bit of extra inches in this room is going to be nice relative to some of our other rooms, because it's a little bit wider and a little bit longer for the same capacity.
You mentioned 300 is what the number of tickets you sell is the sweet spot for the 370. What's between the 300 and 370? What?
Oh, you mean where do who gets those seats?
Yes, yeah.
Ah, you're listening.
Right. I'm in the canon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it varies, but
Sure.
You know, between press and house guests, you know, we might have 10 to 20. The artist comp list is usually 10 to 20. You have what we like to say calamity number, which is about 5%, which is 15 seats of screw-ups from other shows, or God forbid, a glass of wine spilled on, that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
sure.
We need that little extra to accommodate the frequency.
That explains to me.
But we sell 300,
Sell
we have room up to 370.
70, good.
And I should say, and I'm going to play with the word just because you guys are all the lucky buyers of my book, and I appreciate that. But the concept of intimacy, I've been enjoying kind of defining that as the ability to look at people in the eyes. And that a room this size, as an artist, you can pretty much look in everybody's eyes. And as a father of the bride or a CEO of a company that's giving a party in here, you still get that ability to connect with everybody. Once you get to 500 people or 1,000 people, you can't do that. And to me, that's the big difference in our venue over other rooms, is that we have a sense of intimacy because we're limiting our capacity to that. Obviously there's a lot more space in this whole building. We could have built a 700 capacity room. There'd be a few more columns in that room, but that's not our model. That's not what we're trying to do. We are trying to create an intimate concert facility. Yeah. Today.
Yes, today. So you're going to have a row of tables here, lined up towards the stage.
Right.
8 people, or 10 people, 5 on each side, and then a second row of tables, and then some high tops.
Very good.
In the back, so they can see over the group in front.
It's a spiral of tables and chairs.
It's not unlike World
that
Cafe.
goes out, linear from the stage. Same seating as we really have everywhere else. There's a seat map that just went online today for the first time. And the seating is really important. Actually, Sarah, my wife, was part of. We were struggling when I was starting the City Winery. Was how to go out and see a show, whether it was a movie or a play, and also have dinner when we got either working a lot or babysitting or whatever other responsibilities. It's hard to sometimes find more than a 2 or 3 hour window in the evening. 5 hours is what it then takes if you're going to go do a full dinner and see some entertainment. And so really wanted to have a combination of the food and wine and show in one experience. But more important than just the combination was for seating and our ticketing program, which is something we're very proud of, is that you can pick the seat that you're going to sit in. So you might find you like being by the exit, or some people might want to be closer to the wine and they're into that, or hopefully everyone wants to be closer to the bar. And but whatever is ends up being your favorite seat, and we allow the members who pay an annual fee, but then you pay no ticketing fees when you buy your ticket. So a $40 ticket is $40, not a Ticketmaster ticket, which is $40 plus $17.50, right?
Yeah.
So it's $40. You're a Vinophile member, and then you get to pick your favorite seats, and you get 5 seats that you put into your membership program. And when we go on sale with tickets in the future, Vinophiles get an advance window to pick your seats. And on mobile, we made it really easy. So now the simple question is Suzanne Vega is on sale today. Do you want your favorite seat? Yes or no? Boom, yes. And it knows which seat, and you can, so it's basically a one-click purchase. And because you pick 5 of your favorite seats, if for some reason someone picked the exact same seat and is clicking at the exact same second, the algorithm will go to the next seat. But it allows you to feel comfortable with where you're going. And then this is what we discovered 11 years ago is, boy, isn't it nice to not have to worry about showing up late if you're working till 7:45 and you want to see an 8 o'clock show and you're now starving. You can come at 10 after 8, eat, drink, and be entertained and still get home at 10:30. So that was one of the key components to our whole seating idea 11 years ago. And we keep refining it and perfecting it, but we want you to feel comfortable with where you're going to sit.
And your stage height is perfect.
Yeah, it applies to the loft as well.
Yeah.
Occasionally we will do for some, just general admission seating, usually there are weird circumstances as to why we're doing that, but for the most part, it's always assigned seating.
Okay.
Stage height's great for when you're sitting up front here. You're not too elevated. And if you're in the back there, then you're sitting at the higher seats or up on the second level.
Yeah.
You got a great view too.
No, and we're very consistent about
I'm sure
that too.
that was-
In New York, in our new space at Pier 57, there's a riser, concrete, we can't move it, that is the driveway going down into a parking underneath the space, and it's about this high,
Yeah.
and it's 12 inches
Right.
too high, and it would have made the perfect spot for the stage, and we would have had a little more room to play with, but we can't chop it because
Right.
it's the ceiling of the parking garage entrance. So we're putting our stage in front of it. That's going to become dressing room, and we're going to have a bunch of ramps that have to get to it. But not being too high is really a key
Yep,
component.
absolutely.
Question about ticketing. Is Ticketmaster doing your?
No, God forbid,
Okay,
no.
right. So should people not want to become a member and join,
Then
certainly at the beginning,
We charge a very nominal service fee, and that is really to cover the Visa, MasterCard
fine.
charges.
Now, is it different whether they buy it online or come to the box office?
No,
Okay.
no, it's the same.
So there's
And-
no advantage to come to the box office?
No.
Okay.
And, we have a box office, so few people.
Well, if you're charging the same price.
Most,
it's-
our shows sell out
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
much.
Oh, yeah.
So people are buying them as soon as they can when we announce the shows. And that's another advantage to being a Vinophile member is you're always given a 48-hour notice. I think what we did today on sale for the first sort of 30 shows we announced,
Mm-hmm.
we're giving a whole week to become Vinophile members. And, when we go on sale with some bigger name shows.
Sure.
Right, you throw Dave Mason up there, it's going to be sold out
Dave
pretty
Mason,
quick.
so someone like Dave Mason, or when
Right.
if we ever had the ability to do Prince again, which is
Yeah.
not going to be possible.
No.
When we get that special show and then we go on sale, it'll sell out right away. And we do this as a trick because we're trying to encourage people getting into Vinophile
Sure.
programs. We'll announce a show and say, all right, it's Vinophile membership only, for 48 hours.
Right.
Better buy a Vinophile. And
Right.
so we'll
In
sell a
order
lot
to
of
get tickets.
Vinophiles when someone's in love with Dave Mason and they
Right.
want to get that seat.
Yep.
Just a comment for people that haven't been to your place, and I have to give you credit. I've only been to the Nashville one, but Dan DeLuca pointed out in this morning's paper, you're one of the few places that really, you don't eat before the show. You can eat during the show because your staff has been so great as delivering the food so that it doesn't bother the people around it.
I
Yeah.
really appreciated
Yeah.
that question that he asked was,
Yeah.
how do you not irritate, the talent? And, I told him the story. I didn't read the whole article thoroughly.
Yeah.
Did he mention the Natalie Cole story?
No.
No. So, Natalie, before she died, we did a series of shows with her. And the first time she played, we did a 4-night run, and she thought it was a supper club. And she's a star.
Sure.
Was. And she insisted we suspend food service during the concert. No way was she playing a place that was going to have rattling forks and knives and people
Yeah,
clinking
sure.
glasses. So it was in the contract. What we negotiated was the back, no phone calls coming on in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
I gotta get this place open.
That's from the employee, too.
See if I can imagine how.
So,
Yeah.
we did negotiate the ability to serve food till 7:30 for the 8 o'clock show. We had to have the tables all cleared, and then at 8 o'clock we were not allowed to have any service for drinks even on the floor except for the back third of the room.
Right.
And so that was what was new. So then after the first night, backstage, I just, was all excited. Kind of a little bit shy promoter, and I go up to her and just say, so I hope you loved the night. And she's like, yeah, it was great. And I was like, I hope, you didn't hear any of the beverage service that we had in the back? And she goes, no, not at all. I'm like, well, because it's really hard for us to make any money when we can't sell anything. So, because all the money from the tickets are going to you. So I just, I understand, I respect, you, and please, just let, boy, if we could move that line of sale just a little bit more forward. She goes, I didn't hear a thing. It really would be fine. If you want to do the drink thing, for the whole room, that would be fine. Maybe let's not do the meal thing, but just let's see go ahead and do the drink thing. So then the second night, we were able to serve drinks the whole time and have service. And then, of course, I go back the next day. I said to Natalie, so, how was it? How? And I was a little more direct. I was rather than just saying how was the show and the sound, and then I just said, so did you hear anything? And she goes, no, it was fine. And I said, well, what do you think? Can we serve food? And she said, yeah, fine, go ahead. And we did. And then I asked her, the third night, how was it? She goes, it was fine. And so, I always tell that story to any promoter or manager or artist that's sensitive about it. Say, listen, we passed the Natalie Cole test, and we have figured out a lot of our signals, and can always just go like this, and sign language, and we do train the team, to be as respectful as we can. What did come out, I saw in the paper, was we make every employee read Setting the Table. It's a great treatise on hospitality and the sort of respect we need to have for the environment and for our customers, and we live by that sort of operational motto of enlightened hospitality. So that's important to us, so that we don't disturb the show. And we actually have our candelabras that say, please respect the artist and your neighbor, no talking during the show. We want this room to be a listening room. We want everywhere else, to be a lot of loud, boisterous drinking and eating.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Speaking of books, can you tell us a little bit more about yours?
Thank you for the prompt question. I've never been. I don't know how to answer the book question. The whole thing is unique to me because I've never done a book. I was backstage at Carnegie Hall with. And I'm not trying to name drop, but I just finished reading Just Kids by Patti Smith, and it's just an amazing book. And she had been performing in our tribute shows several times. Actually, she played last week when we did the Lou Reed tribute at City Winery, and it was amazing. But I just read the book, and her detail for all these stories and relationship with Robert Mapplethorpe, and just like, it was so incredible. And so I just said to her, how did you remember all those details? Like how, just so, the minutia and the detail is precise. She goes, I've been keeping a diary, my whole life, and I realized that, I'm the biggest schmuck in the world for having just never written, all kinds of fun stories down, like the Natalie Cole thing. I remembered it today, but most of the time I can't remember shit. And so I've been trying really hard to write this stuff down. And then a writer from Inc. magazine, Paul Keegan, who had done a story, we got along really well, and he was able to ask great questions. And then someone suggested, doing a business book, and then and he had done some ghost writing before. He'd done Kip, what's his last name? But the Container Store guy. So I forgot what the name of the book was called, but it did well, and he had done that ghost writing. And so, was able to, convince a publisher and all that to put it up. But we were able to take the stories and the sort of the various things that have happened between the knitting factory and all the screw-ups and into City Winery and come up with a thesis, which I'll explain, but then, sort of break some of it down into some business lessons that could be applicable to to other entrepreneurs, certainly beyond, you know, the concert business or the, you know, the pure music space. And, you know, the basic premise is in a world where we're fully consumed with technology and screens, and we're in our desktop or mobile device all day long, from the moment we wake up to go to sleep, that as a sort of a creator of experience, our job is to try and create as magic and as terrific a 2-hour window as we can. And if we're doing our job right, you actually naturally put your phone in your pocket, and, you know, maybe you're doing some Instagram and checking to see, you know, how your stocks are doing or something. But like if we're doing our job effectively, you're putting that away, and that's because we're indulging people's senses. Like, we're thinking about the entire sensory experience. So the textures of the wood on the floor, you know, the materials, our lamps, our curtains, our air conditioning, you know, the sound, the lights, the smells, you know, and that we have such a unique opportunity of being a culinary meet winery meet music space that, as much as I love Danny Meyer and he does a great job with it, we can beat him because we're adding this musical experience to it, and that can turn, you know, what would be a normal culinary thing into this magical, you know, window. And if we're doing our job right, we're always creating magic. And so that was the basic long thesis, but that's, you know, shown how it can be applicable, and that bigger technology companies actually have been doing that kind of secretly. If you look at, you know, the success of the iPhone, it's a great device, but it wasn't until Steve Jobs, you know, literally created stores where people could touch and feel it, right? That's when the sales went skyrocket. People wanted to understand what the device was. And I don't think it's a coincidence Amazon bought Whole Foods. You know, the integration of the physical, you can't eliminate it completely, you know, and ignore it and get obsessed with just pure technology.
Did you cover hours? Did anybody ask the hours? What are the hours? You said 365, but what are your normal hours going to be?
It's not. Are we going to open for lunch? Do we
Yes,
set up?
absolutely.
We're opening for lunch. We're not.
And then most likely till midnight on the weekends.
Yeah.
You're opening from?
11 a.m.
11 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be open for lunch every day, and then we'll start brunch, probably 6 weeks or so into open.
Yeah, not every city winery is open for lunch, depending on the location. But I'm glad we're
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right downtown.
because our rent's a little higher here in Nashville.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, folks, I gotta pay for it.
Sure. Yeah.
Come on in, come visit me. I'll be
No,
sleeping
no,
here.
but upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. We might, on the weekends, we usually do some sort of combined musical food program. You know, I don't know if we're going to do it, and I don't know if House of Blues is still doing their gospel brunch.
I was going to ask you
series.
if you're
But
doing.
that, you know, we tried a klezmer brunch thing for a while in New York. It was moderately successful.
That's a New York thing, yeah.
But we've done all kinds of musical brunch themes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Really?
Okay, now we're going backstage, and this is one of the green rooms.
Revolution Green Room. I'm naming our green rooms.
Oh. Okay.
And this is green room number 2, probably the opener, a little bit smaller. Independence Green Room.
Okay.
And then we go to Freedom. So being in the birthplace of America,
Yeah.
you know, we have to name it after our
Right.
forefathers and what they fought for
Yeah.
and died for. So great, you know, all green rooms will be carpeted, couches and sofas, and chairs and refrigerators and makeup tables, and then right down the hallway there's 2 restrooms and a shower for the artists.
Is that the big?
Yeah, this is the big one.
This is the
Yes, yeah, or the bridal suite.
Right. Yeah.
You know, for the bride, she's got to have the best.
Yeah.
Because we'll be doing
That's great.
a lot of weddings.
And these are restrooms here. Purple restrooms. Oh, here's the tile.
Hallway down that way, where we get all our deliveries, and that's a common area through there.
Yeah. Delivery area.
Well,
What's this, too?
Just the delivery area.
Oh,
yeah, that's just a service area.
Yeah.
the back, yeah.